hire with test projects. This has also been a huge shift for me, as I often hired the wrong person for the role because I assumed that they understood the work or how I wanted it done. I spent $97,403 in hiring freelancers and agencies in 2024 for my grant writing business. Even writing that feels a little bit like wow, not a regrettable wow, but I am so impressed that my business can happily sustain this team budget. Let's talk about what I learned last year in hiring freelance contractors and agencies in my business and what tips I have for you. Number one, hiring mindset, letting go of ego. This was a huge one. I'm going to talk about two main thoughts that really changed a lot for me so I could actually hire these folks happily. All right. So the big mindset shift I actually had in 2023 after working with my coach, Kirsten Roldan, it's not the person I'm hiring, it's the system. So this has been huge. It's been a huge help because instead of thinking about, oh, I like that specific snowflake person, instead I'm going like, no, I'm hiring for this role. You can feel free to apply, but I have to hire for the role. And it's my business that's hiring, not me. I need to do what's important for my business. Because of this hiring mindset, in 2024, with every hire, I hired for the scope of work and had test projects to see if the person could apply the system. And I'm going to talk more about these in these tips. But literally, I even had a friend apply for one of the jobs and I'm happy to see her. She went through the test project, but she came back and said, oh, you know what? This is a lot more than I thought it was going to be. It's not a good fit. Now, if I would have hired her like I hired friends in the past, and then we didn't have these types of expectations up front, and they weren't that the best fit either. And guess what? It resulted in awkward situations. But this time it didn't at all. Inside our program, the Grant Professional Mentorship, we actually give you done for you test projects for these positions because I know how much of a game changer they are. The second thought I had was actually from Dan Martell and his book, Buy Back Your Time, right? Love this book. Is 80% done by someone else is 100% awesome. So last year when I hired people, I also created training materials as part of the onboarding. And in this way, I knew that there was going to be some going back and forth, right, in the first 30 to 90 days. I also let them know expectations up front so they don't feel like I'm nitpicking. I actually said there's going to be a lot of feedback at first, and I'm not just going to update things and then move forward. I'm going to send you back things to update because this way you can get quickly entrenched in the company culture. So it might feel like a lot of back and forth in the beginning, but that's because I want long-term where it's not this much back and forth. And it's 100% true. And then they didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm a teacher who redlined all their their essay. No, they actually knew like, okay, this is just part of what the training. They had those expectations and it was great. But it was also me knowing like, I'm not going to get 100% as soon as I hire this role. Like they need to understand how I want things done in my company, right? Even if that was 100% to them in the past, it might not be the same for my business. So just having these huge mindset shifts has literally helped me get unstuck in my business to hire people and let go of the hiring ego because it's big. I no longer nitpick every person or look for 100% on every job, but I can be more neutral in understanding what the business needs. And of course, this has helped increase the quality of my business. When it was just me, I might be the expert, of course, in quickly writing a grant. But when I got sick, wanted a holiday, or wanted to add a new service, I couldn't. Because I was doing it all, I was burned out. I missed grant deadlines for my clients. And I didn't even realize like links were broken and I didn't have a professional website because I was trying to do it all. Now that support, because I knew who to hire when, we're going to talk about that. Now that support has helped me have back and forth quality control period where the quality increases. We're going to talk more about that in a second. So let's go to number 2. Knowing which role to hire for today. In the past, I have made the huge mistake of hiring the right role at the wrong time. So I see a lot of newbie grant writers and creative services, and really any entrepreneur having and doing this mistake. They hire the right role, but it's at the wrong time. Because they want to start marketing, they hire a marketer. Because they want to start a YouTube channel, they hire a YouTube editor. There's nothing wrong with these roles, and they might be the right role in your business, but not right now. If you are still overwhelmed with your current work, like you're a grant writer right now and you are just writing grants back to back, delivering all the things to clients, sending invoices, you haven't even had time to do this and you're like, I'm going to market. Guess what happens? And I'm going to hire a marketer, right? These desires for business growth don't always have an immediate return on investment. So it also makes it hard to financially sustain these hires. You are not reducing your current workload, and hiring a new person, even if they're like, yep, I'm going to do all the videos, they still need you to record videos. They still need you to do the content. They still need to have meetings, all of the things, right? So that does take time. And if you haven't freed up any of your current time, it is a spiral down. Number 3, know how much your business can pay. Another mistake I see entrepreneurs doing, and I did this in the past, is either paying too much or too little, not knowing how much your business can afford and be sustainable. Once you know the role to hire, you need to know how much you can afford. And a good rule of thumb, and I am not an HR person, I'm not a bookkeeper, all the disclaimers, but what I've seen work well in my business and in other people's businesses inside the mentorship is between 10 to 25% of what your business pulls in. There are definitely other considerations such as expenses, taxes, debts, etc., but that's a good range. And it depends as far as are you subcontracting? There's other things to look at. But if you aren't paying what your business can afford, then you will start to feel bitter about paying people. You will. And inside the Grant Professional Mentorship, we help you do a hiring system, including a done for you hiring budget so you can understand what your current business can afford. Number 4, hiring the right person with a job description. So how do you actually hire the person? You need a job description. But before you do this, you actually need to track your time. If it's a task you're hiring to offboard what you're doing currently, then make sure you're tracking your time right now over the next few weeks on how much time it actually takes you to do this task. When you hire someone, it's going to take them a little bit longer usually, especially if you're an expert in that area. That's okay. You're also not paying them the same that you're paying yourself. What do you include inside a job description? You want to write down about you, the company, culture, policies, and projects. Make sure that they understand everything that is actually they're going to be doing in your business. You also want to put down what are the required skills and what are the preferred skills. What are the no-go, you have to have them have these skills. And for you, if you're writing federal grants all the time and you require someone to know how to write a federal grant, then you may have that as a requirement. If you can teach them how to write a federal grant, maybe that's just a preference. You also want to include, we love to include a day, a week in the life of, right? What does this actually look like? So they can really imagine themselves working inside your business and if it's a good fit for them. Any expectations you have in your business too about weekly meetings, turning around things, any kind of software that they need to know how to use. You all want to have all of that as well. Of course, you want to include what you're going to pay, how many hours that you're expecting, and all of that as well. That is important. Don't just have it out there so they have to know, they don't even know how much you're going to be paying. You want them to look at this job description and be like, yes, I would do that. If you ask me to do that, I would do that for that amount. I have those hours set aside, etc. Don't make this a guessing game. Number 5, hire with test projects. This has also been a huge shift for me, as I often hired the wrong person for the role because I assumed that they understood the work or how I wanted it done. But just by doing test projects, and this just means a few things, maybe 1 to 3 things in your business that they will actually be doing. Have them do a very short thing of this. And once again, this is my coach. She teaches about this. I love it so much. But basically, you take the top 1 to 3 applicants and then you ask them to do the test projects. If you're doing grant writing and how to do research, then you might have them find 5 different sources and citations about teen pregnancy in X city and see how they can do that without using AI, right? Because AI is not good for research at this point in time. You have them test on whatever they're going to do on something pretty short, but you just want to see how they can do. And then you also want to pay for this because you haven't hired them yet and you're only asking the top few applicants to do this. Go ahead and pay them a stipend or a payment. And just think about how long will this actually take them to do? You don't want them to do something that takes weeks, a quick turnaround, and then pay for their time. That is important. Number 6, provide onboarding and training. You do want to have a meeting where you do password sharing and show them where things are and all of that. Get them into your company. For training, you don't need to have all your training done before you hire. Emma inside the Grant Professional Mentorship was able to hire, and it gave her the urgency then to do her SOPs. She didn't even have them done, but because she hired, she's like, oh, now I'm going to do that thing on my to-do list to actually create my SOPs finally. And I just love even using Loom videos for training because they can do screen capturing. So I'll literally just start doing my work, like while I'm even like time tracking myself, right? And I'll say, okay, I'm just talking through, this is what I would do. This is where I would go. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. So like as I'm working, I'm just talking about it. And that can serve as a great training video for your new hires. And even if it's something you're like, but Holly, I'm hiring for that YouTube editor and I don't do YouTube, you can still onboard them and train them at least on like, this is how I want this delivered in this Google Doc, etc. Right? Have those clear communications down. Number 7, delegating work and feedback loops. When you're working with someone, you don't need to feel like you have to manage them. You can think that you're delegating work to them. And I love to let them know the following: the time frame of when something is due, how to ask questions, like go into Slack, etc. Any training that I have, so those Loom videos, SOPs, or just previous like grants, that sort of thing, and how much time each task should take. That is so, so important. So when they're submitting everything for me, we can see like where they're at, where they need more support, etc. And the feedback loops are that they send over items, I give feedback. So if there is a need to edit something, I don't make the edit. I allow enough time where we can go back and forth so that I can tell them once again, here, just make this edit, etc. And that entrenches them in my company a lot quicker. This has been a powerful way for them to learn quickly on what type of quality I prefer. And overall, as I mentioned, I was going to talk about this, it has increased the quality of my business. So even if I have an SOP and they do it perfectly, they actually give me a 100, right, on that time. And I'm like, oh, so good. Guess what? Sometimes I'm like, you know what? There's a better way. Now that I'm having time and space for this, I actually don't like the fonts like that, or actually we could include this other thing. So I'll go back to them and I'm like, you did a perfect, amazing job, but we can actually up level this. So I'll go ahead and add this to the SOP of what I'm going to tell you. And from now on, add that into when you're delivering it. And that has increased my quality overall because now I have this space to look at things and think about them. It's just not me doing them all and trying to get them done on time. So a wrap up on my 2024 hiring. I was more than happy to spend over $97,000 in hiring my team members. My business has grown. I'm no longer in my inbox all of the time. I've taken off nearly 3 months in 2024 for vacations, laptop-free vacations. And I have co-coaches that come in that help with the quality of my programs because they also lend their expertise. They help out. And I've been able to add and restart my agency in 2025 because of the support I had set up in 2024. I also sold more than 10,000 copies of my best-selling book, The Beginner's Guide to Grant Writing, because I was able to get advertising support. I have a great YouTube editor, so all I need to focus is on the content. And I rebranded my entire website and have beautiful imagery now, marketing materials. I can now focus more on creating valuable content than on doing all of the things. I can focus on helping people get more money for their grant writing businesses and to write and get grants awarded. Now, when I hire, I'm excited because I know it's helping my business grow. And because I follow this process, the same one I teach to change makers inside the Grant Professional Mentorship, I have data that the new hire will be helpful and I won't cringe when paying, but will celebrate. For all of our hiring systems, learn more in our Grant Professional Mentorship and let me know how this helps you in your business.